Hello everybody out there watching on YouTube, and welcome to race number 32 of Season 6 of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series. I'm Levi McIntyre, the voice of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series, here to welcome you to the Pep Boy Auto Parts 500 here at Atlanta Motor Speedway as we're getting set for 40 laps of racing here at one of the craziest mile-and-a-half racetracks we go to on the schedule. And we're getting down to the nitty-gritty of the season, and time's running out for drivers to make a stride at the championship. Speaking of the championship, let's take a look at the point standings, top 10-wise, coming into the race today. So after our last race at the Denver Oval, in what was one of the most bizarre finishes in the history of this channel, Jessica Sheldon still leads the points and actually extended her points lead to 39 points over new second place in points, Anthony McCrory. Third, Benjamin Miles. Fourth, Jake Baskinger. Fifth, Rob Evans. Sixth, DJ Curtis. Seventh, Cole Deaver. Eighth, Caleb Kilburn. Ninth, Dylan Poteet. And 10th, James Mccloud. 94 points separates the top 10 right now, and the top 5 is within about a race, a little over a race worth of points between each other, 51 points. And then from 6th to 10th, it's about a race and a half to 2 races back. So those guys from 6th to 10th in points, they're going to have a lot of work to do. To get themselves back into the hunt. But let's take a look at the starting lineup for the race today. Starting in the last row is Johnny Gardner, Dylan Young. Top 10, Jay Jefferson gets his first pole of the season. Starting next to him is Anthony McCrory. Row 2, Chris Dollarton, Caleb Kilburn. Row 3, Phil Parker, Trent Dunham. Row 4, Joshua Sekuli, Charles Sanford. And then row 5, Dylan Jacobs and Tim Fiegel. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, let's get this race underway. Let's get the command to fire engines for the Pep Boy Auto Parts 500 at Atlanta.
Drivers, start your engines.
All 40 drivers now on the racetrack for their pace lap around here. Now, earlier this season back here at Atlanta, we had a first-time winner in Bradley Zorgdrager in the 66 car. And I can't remember for the life of me where he started in that race. Might have started in the back, just like I see him. He's the third to last car on the inside line back there. So really, this racetrack, not quite as good as Kansas in terms of, like, battling for position, but relatively close. But also, wrecks can be a big problem here at Atlanta, depending on how fast they're going and how much room drivers give one another to make moves or to go on by. As we're getting ready to come off of turn 4 to get this race underway, the pace car pulling in, coming off of turn 4 here at Hot Atlanta, and ladies and gentlemen, you know what time it is. It's time to boogity 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 go racing. So Jay Jefferson got to lead the first lap, as I completely didn't realize my mic was still on mute even though I hit the button. I apologize if there's some dead spots of commentary. It's just because with this mic, the mute button is so weird. Like, I hit it and sometimes it won't mute, Sometimes I hit it when it is on mute, and it won't unmute. It's very, very inconsistent. That's the one problem I have with these Blue Yeti microphones. But as I was saying, yeah, Jay Jefferson may be leading for now, but look at the cars coming into the picture behind him. Logan Bradley with help from our winner from the Denver Oval race, James Qualls. I gotta tell you guys, I am still in shock of how that Denver Oval race ended. Such heartbreak for Jessica Shelton to get her 4th win of the season, and just came up one pit stall short of the finish line, which was absolutely insane. And James Qualls somehow, someway pulled one off by a hair and got that first win of the season. As Qualls, actually, he comes into this race as a result of that 16th in points. He's been slowly moving up in the standings. I don't know if he's going to be able to get the championship. It's probably highly doubtful at this point, but can he still get top 10 in points? He still has a shot to get top 10 in points and have a good season by the end. Right now hanging on in second, but he might try and go for the lead underneath Logan Bradley. I thought he was going to, but he decides to tuck in line behind the 90, at least for the time being. Meanwhile, right behind in the 3rd position, we have Joshua Sekuli, former series champion, and he comes into this race 21st in points. Pretty much an up-and-down roller coaster ride it's been for that 10 team here in Season 6. Right behind is Michael Norman, who comes into this race 18th in points. He actually fell 4 spots after he somehow finished bottom 5 at the Roval for Denver last time, and ended up falling from 14th to 18th in points. As right now he's getting passed by Jay Jefferson, who, as I had said in the race last time, he's just wanting to get this season out of the way because this has been a rather abysmal Season 6 for Jay Jefferson. Despite getting a win, he just wants to move on, especially because he's going to be in a new race team next season and moving manufacturers over to Chevy, which will be really interesting. James Mccloud now up to the 5th position. James Mccloud, he has had a really, really fantastic season. 10th in points, tied for the most wins of the season with 3. And remember, this is his farewell season, along with his teammate Dylan Poteet, who I'm sure we'll talk about at some point later in the race. But Mcleod and Poteet are trying to end their legacy of Tweenix Racing off on a high note by both getting top 10 in points or still have a shot at this championship if they can really start putting the pedal to the metal and gain ground on those drivers ahead of them in the point standings. Charles Sanford, on the other hand, he's had a lot of really good, respectable statistics this season. 11 top 10s, 5 top 5s. But he's just been caught up in so many wrecks this season. It's been insane. As he comes in 24th in points. Right now having a great run. Another top 10 going here at Atlanta. And then right behind him, Carson Gum in the 19. He also is one to get this season out of the way. Consider next season he's going to be moving to Backmarker Motorsports. Still driving the 19, but not for the team that he was a part of this season, Baker Baskinger Racing. And then right now in the 10th spot, I believe, or this is the 9th spot. According to scoring, it's 9th, and that's Rob Evans, who definitely is looking to get some good runs going again in order to get back into the championship hunt. 51 points behind Jessica Shelton coming into the race today, so he's going to have to finish quite soundly ahead of Shelton and those other 3 drivers ahead of him in points, McCrory, Miles, and Baskinger, if he's going to try and get this championship. Right now, a battle going on for the 10th position between Emmanuel Hartnett and Jonathan Zorline, and Hartnett's going to get the position, as Hartnett, this is also his farewell season, but it has just been abysmal for him in Season 6. And he's actually about to get passed possibly by Seth Cole, who, Seth Cole this season, pretty decent season, 14th in points. He got a win earlier in the season. I can't remember what race it was that he won off the top of my head, but he will be back in the 98 next season for Backmarker Motorsports. However, big change up with the team since Anthony McCurry's going to be retiring after this season. Chris Dollarton going to move to a different team. Same with Cody Lamas. He's going to have... The only teammate that he has currently that will be back next season is James Shelley, who I see not too far behind the 98 of Seth Cole. But he's going to have possibly Carson Gum and Cole Baker as new teammates for Backmarker Motorsports next season. Let's get back up to the front, and Logan Bradley continues to lead the way here in the Pep Boy Auto Parts 500, but he's got three cars right on his tail that are trying to find a way to get around the 90, but the 90's just had such a strong car, although now we might see a lead change as here comes James Mccloud, but he couldn't quite get the run off because Michael Norman got tied entering turn 3, and that actually helped for James Qualls to try and take third away. And Mccloud about had a pass going, but couldn't quite make it work because he didn't have a little bit of that extra speed boost from the 3 of Michael Norman to make the move. As ever since Logan Bradley's gotten the race lead, nobody's passed him yet. Although remember, pit stops are going to be a big thing whenever we get to the point of pit stops, whether it be under caution or under green. Right now, the top 3 have broken away from the rest of the field. Logan, Mccloud, and Qualls. Although 4th place Jay Jefferson, he's trying to reel in the top 3 in order to make the battle for the lead a little more interesting. But now that we're at the halfway point, let's actually do a full field rundown as best we can here at Atlanta. Logan Bradley is the race leader. 2nd is James Mccloud. 3rd, James Qualls. 4th, Jay Jefferson. 5th, Michael Norman. 6th is Joshua Sekuli. 7th, Charles Sanford. 8th, Rob Evans. 9th, Emmanuel Hartnett. 10th, Seth Cole. 11th, Carson Gum. 12th, Joshua Collard. 13th, James Shelley. 14th, Melissa Alexander. 15th, Zachary Fitzwater. 16th, Johnny Gardner. 17th, Jessica Shelton. 18th, Benjamin Miles. 19th, Tim Fiegel. 20th, Caleb Kilburn. 21st, Jake Rogers. 22nd, Bradley Zorgdragger. 23rd, Dylan Pote. 24th, Trent Dunham. 25th, Dylan Young. 26th, Chris Dollarton. 27th, Matt McIntyre. 28th, Joey Parkhill. 29th, Cody Lamas. 30th, Phil Parker. 31st, Kyle Matthews. 32nd, Jonathan Zorlane. 33rd, Anthony McCurry. 34th, DJ Curtis. 35th, Rafael Leduc. 36th, Jake Baskinger. 37th, Jordan Forbes. 38th, Cole Deaver. 39th, Cole Baker. And then dead last, Dylan Jacobs. 18 laps to go, so basically whenever these drivers pit, they are good to go for the rest of the race. But the big question is, who will prevail as the race leader after pit stops have concluded? Man, look at the speeds they're going. They are going insanely fast here at Atlanta, which is unbelievable. But yeah, I think it's safe to say Logan Bradley's going to get those most laps led bonus points because he has pretty much led the field ever since about lap 4 or 5, and nobody's passed him yet, although Mccloud, he's just been staying on the back bumper of the 90s. I don't know if he's just waiting to time his move, or if he's waiting on someone behind him to catch up to him to give him a little bit of like a slipstream to go by the 90, because Mccloud, he's just been staying hooked to the back bumper of the 90 of Logan Bradley for about a good 15 laps or so. Although now the top 5 are well within striking distance of one another. Logan, Mcleod, Qualls, Norman, and Sekuli right now, but that will change whenever these drivers come into pit road. And I was double checking to see if anybody's pitted already, and nobody has yet. Looking around, is anybody pulling in now? It doesn't look like it, so they're going to continue to run on the racetrack as it's now 14 laps to go here at Atlanta. And look at Mccloud. He feels now's the time to try and make that move. Let's go to helicopter camera and watch if he can make it happen. And nope. Logan Bradley with that extra speed off the high side clears Mccloud. If I were Mccloud, I'd be waiting to try and make the move going into a corner instead of after a corner. Look at Michael Norman trying to go underneath of James Qualls to get to the 3rd spot. But because he's got really no help, although now into corner entry, he's going to have that extra run, and he's going to clear Qualls for the 3rd spot now. Emmanuel Hartnett, where in the world did he come from, as he's now moving his way up to the top 5? As the field, yeah, look at the field. It's scattered all over the place outside of the top 6. And now Mcleod actually has a run to the inside, but I think he's slowing down to go to pit road. Same with Logan Bradley. But Michael Norman going to stay out another lap to try and get a valuable bonus point. Actually, a good half the field has already come into the pits, and I didn't see that. Perhaps that was why there was such a huge separation among drivers in the top 10, but Norman's staying out, and he's the only one that's still out. Well, no, actually, there's a couple more. Zorleen, Matthews. So Michael Norman, Kyle Matthews, Jonathan Zorleen have yet to come to the pits, but now Norman's going to slow down to come in this time. What about Matthews? He's slowing down, same with Zorleen. I don't know if Michael Norman, unless he can get a fast enough pit stop, I don't think he would be able to cycle around as the race leader as a result, but we'll see how things play out. In fact, let's see who came out of the pits first of the major group of cars. Mcleod actually got around Logan Bradley to get out of pit road. And then Hartnett. How about Rob Evans and Seth Cole, who were among the first to come into the pits? They're actually going to gain positions as a result of this, but Michael Norman gets out of pit road as the leaders who would be leading just came off turn 4. I don't know. It's going to be close if Michael Norman can cycle around to the lead, as there you see Mcleod in frame trying to get in there. It's going to be close, but if Michael Norman can get up to speed and hold off Mcleod, he might be able to cycle around as the leader, and it looks like he is going to cycle around as the leader. Strategy might have paid off for the 3 of Michael Norman, as let's actually take a look at the full field rundown now. Michael Norman has the race lead. 2nd, James Mcleod. 3rd, Logan Bradley. 4th, Rob Evans. 5th, Seth Cole. 6th, Emmanuel Hartnett. 7th, James Qualls. 8th, James Shelley. 9th is Joshua Collard. 10th is Jay Jefferson. 11th, Joshua Sekuli. 12th, Jessica Shelton. 13th, Carson Gump. 14th, Caleb Kilburn. 15th, Charles Sanford. 16th, Zachary Fitzwater. 17th, Trent Dunham. 18th, Chris Dollarton. 19th, Jake Rogers. 20th, Melissa Alexander. 21st, Johnny Gardner. 22nd, Benjamin Miles. 23rd, Phil Parker. 24th, Bradley Zorgdrager. 25th, Cody Lamas. 26th is Anthony McCurry. 27th, Rafael Leduc. 28th, Dylan Young, apologies. 29th, Jonathan Zorleen, I believe. Yep. And then 30th, with some damage somehow, Cole Deaver. 31st, Matt McIntyre. 32nd, Tim Fiegel. 33rd is Kyle Matthews. 34th, Jordan Forbes. 35th, DJ Curtis. 36th is Cole Baker. 37th, Jake Baskinger. 38th is Dylan Jacobs. 39th, Joey Parkhill. 40th, dead last, is Dylan Poteet. Back up at the front, Michael Norman still leading the way here at Atlanta as we're coming to 5 laps to go here in the Pep Boy Auto Parts 500. As far as where we head to for the rest of the season, the next race we have is Talladega for the Geico 500. That's going to be fun. Then our final road course race at Lime Rock as we return to the legendary Lime Rock track. Then California for the penultimate race, and then the finale, as always, at Kansas. Michael Norman trying to do his best to hold off some charging cars. James Mccloud, who's been pretty much in second all race long, he's looking for that 4th win of the season. Meanwhile, Seth Cole trying to go for win number 2. Logan Bradley as well going for win number 2, and he's actually going to get a run on the inside of Seth Cole to try and take the 3rd spot. Rob Evans, who's also trying to look for his 1st win of the season. Hartnett, I'm not sure, would it be his 1st or 2nd? It would be his 1st win of the season if he could pull it off. But it's less than 3 laps to go. Michael Norman hangs on by a little over 3 car lengths. Mcleod's starting to run out of time to catch up to the 3 car. Luckily, he's got a couple of cars behind him that could give him a little bit of extra speed in a draft to catch up to the 3. But I don't know, less than 2 laps to go now. Michael Norman, just in that clean air, is able to hold on. And Logan Bradley actually going to try and take 2nd away from Mcleod as Seth Cole is also up here into the picture. Michael Norman's really loving that because it's helping him pull away and keep the lead as the white flag is out here at Atlanta. And that little side-by-side battle for 2nd might have helped Michael Norman get the win altogether as Seth Cole took 2nd from Logan Bradley. Nobody's going to stop Michael Norman. Phenomenal run here at the end. Great pit strategy off of 4, checkered flag waving. Michael Norman gets his 2nd win of his career. He wins the Pep Boy Auto Parts 500 at Atlanta. Great pit strategy on the part of the 3, being one of the last ones to come to pit road, managing to get out ahead of everyone else and stay up there, which was amazing. And Michael Norman finally follows up that Daytona 500 win at the start of the season with a win at a non-restrictor plate racetrack. Great job by that 3 car. But let's look at the rest of the results. Seth Cole with a great run in the 2nd position. That could put him back into the top 10 in points. James Mccloud, much needed good run in the 3rd position, was close to getting the 4th win of the season for himself. Logan Bradley, the dominant car of the day, still gets a great run in 4th and was the highest finishing, or actually no, the 2nd highest finishing rookie behind Norman. And then 5th, Emmanuel Hartnett finishing out strong in the top 5. Rob Evans finishing in the 6th position. Joshua Collard with a great run in 7th. Solid run for Joshua Sekuli in 8th. Jay Jefferson, definitely a much-needed bright spot, finishing in 9th. And then the points leader, Jessica Shelton, gets another top 10 finish in the 10th spot. Then there's the rest of your top 20, your top 30, and then the bottom 5 for this week were DJ Curtis, Joey Parkhill, Dylan Jacobs, Jordan Forbes, and Kyle Matthews. So that does it for our coverage here today at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Next time, it's the Geico 500 at Talladega. As I had a hiccup right there. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. Here are your results, rookie points, and regular points heading into Talladega. And this is Levi McIntyre signing off.